Kia ora, boys. Firstly, well done on being at school. So it's about 3:30 on Monday afternoon, 142 positive cases and 130 boys isolating at home. I understand some of the boys back at school have returned from either having COVID or isolating, so great to have you back. Just a reminder about wearing our masks properly, not coming to school when we're sick, and also that if we do have to go home, self-isolate, that there's an onus on us to reach out to our teachers and make sure we know what's going on, checking Teams, checking OneNote, emailing teachers or classmates if we're not sure. So the onus is on us. Our teachers aren't setting 2 sets of lessons. I just want to talk about some sports results. It's fantastic that sporting activities have continued. Commiserations to those who have missed out because of being sick or having to isolate. But we had, just recently, there was the mountain bike downhill. That was at the Christchurch Adventure Park. And in the under 15, Sam Dunnett was first. So that's a national title for Sam, and he was recognised in the school newsletter. We just had rowing. We sent our junior squad away to the South Island Championships. Lots of our senior rowers are sick, so they're going to Māori in a week's time. But with our juniors, congratulations to the under 15-8 who won a gold. That's a fantastic achievement. And also the under 15-4 won a bronze. We had our athletic sports last week. Thanks very much to Mr. Watson and his team that organised that. The plan is, post-COVID, that the whole school will go out to Ngāi for our next athletic sports, and the whole school will compete out there. But just some highlights from the athletics. Levi Murdoch won the long jump and high jump as expected. He also showed his sprinting prowess with a win in the 100 metres. Also doubles to Jacob Hawkins, the 400 metres and the hurdles, and Jack Bush-Ward, who won the shot put and the discus. In the intermediate grade, there was an impressive individual result with James Moore taking 5 titles. He won the high jump, the long jump, the hurdles, shot put and the discus. Ollie Singleton won the 200 and the javelin. Josh Tonga, the 100 and the 400. James broke 2 records. Those were in the shot put. That record has stood since 1975, and he also broke the discus record. In the juniors, Cooper Whiteman won the 800, the 15 and the 3000. Hunter Scott won the 100, the 200, the high jump. Harry Williamson won the long jump and the hurdles with a new school record. And Jordan Bately won the shot put in the javelin. So more fantastic results there. And excellent performances also in the under 14 with a double to Henry Sevier, the 1500 metres in the hurdle. Caleb Collins Politau, the shot put and the discus, and Ethan Duke Norris, the long jump and the high jump. So that was a fantastic day. The athletic sports, of course, were a chance to recognise former teacher Chris Todd, and I'm really pleased that Mr. Burt is going to talk about Miss Todd. Aotearoa Peto.
Good afternoon. I'm Mr. Burt, for those who don't know me. I'm here today to talk about one of our past teachers who has left a substantial amount of money to the school as a gift. Her name is Christine Todd, and she grew up in Wellington, gained a first-class honours degree in chemistry and also a maths degree at Canterbury University. She taught at Christchurch Boys High for 30 years from 1986. In the early 1980s, women's marathon running was in its infancy, and Christine Burden, her married name, was one of New Zealand's top women's marathon runners. She won the inaugural Christchurch Women's Marathon in a time of 3:44 and was a national marathon champion, getting to represent New Zealand in the London Marathon. She taught maths at Christchurch Boys High for 30 years from 1986. Christine became a very competent Year 12 Dean and then took on the role of Head of Sport, which she held until she left Boys High. She was instrumental in starting the junior dances, which she ran to fundraise for cross-country and athletics trips, some to Australia, and the annual sports awards dinners, which ran prior to the earthquakes. She taught her entire career with Mr. Barry Thomas, who is now the head of maths, and he has these words to say about Toddy. She was a very good maths teacher. She had the knack of being able to break something difficult down into more simple and straightforward parts. She would focus on the key elements and avoid overcomplicating something. This meant that she was particularly effective teaching students who found maths a challenge. However, she was also very good at extending and challenging mathematically capable students too. She really cared about her students and would go out of her way to give those that needed help this extra tuition. This caring side of her personality was especially evident over all the years she managed and coached runners at Christchurch Boys High. She not only put numerous hours into the administration and organisation of Christchurch Boys High teams, but who knows how many more looking after the well-being of individual athletes. She understood the pressures of athletes the athletes can be under, and cared about the person. Christine had a strong sense of what was right and wrong and would not tolerate something she perceived to be wrong. She would stand up and fight for the things she believed in. In that sense, she could be forthright and direct, but it was always because she cared about the people affected. She was very intelligent and was an extremely quick thinker. It was almost impossible to get the better of her in a discussion because no matter what the case or points you made, she would quick as a flash come back with a counter argument. She was a person of tremendous courage. Her fight with cancer is well known and inspirational. She met the battle head on and got the better of it for quite a long time, managing to do some remarkable things, especially to do with cycling, which became a passion later in her life, before finally succumbing to her illness. She had also met other challenges in her life head on. She had setbacks and difficulties which were upsetting for her, but always seemed to bounce back, showing amazing resilience. Christine may have come across as tough, and she was, in the best possible way, but she was good company and had the wonderful sense of humour. She loved a laugh and a joke. She was a person who got the most out of life. Christine was a passionate teacher of maths and middle distance running. She has left probably the biggest sum of money ever left as a gift to the school, $1.5 million, to be used for middle distance running, which includes cross country and triathlon. This is an amazing gift that will ensure that the school's distance runners are well supported well into the future.
I wish that there was a way to know that you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. Andrew Bernard. Boys, I think this quote has a clear meaning. You need to make the most of and appreciate every moment you can. Whether that means studying a bit more, training a little harder, or spending more time with your friends, you need to make the most of every moment. Your school days are some of the best of your life, and so you need to try extra hard and push a little harder and make your last years at Christchurch Boys High School memorable and valuable. Whichever route you end up taking in life, you'll look back on these days with rose-tinted glasses, wishing you could go back. You're in your good old days. Enjoy them.
Following the first student forum meeting, I met with Mr. Hill to discuss the feedback, which I'll now share with you. Generally, we had positive feedback regarding the increase in house activities, the additions to the canteen like the iced tea, the swimming sports went well, and people liked that the flaps on some of the rubbish bins have been removed. Initially, these flaps were in place to keep birds out, but now it looks like we're going to remove the rest of them in order to make it easier for you to throw out your rubbish. A couple of negatives were pointed out that we cannot yet change, such as the need for masks inside and the fact that assemblies are online. Also, the need for Year 13s to go to kaitiaki before their first period study. Mr. Hill also had a solid no regarding Year 12s leaving during their study periods. We realised that badges are relatively underused at school. So, if you have a group or a proposal for a badge, get in contact with Mr. Vernon. Another problem raised was the state of the swimming pool toilets. Although they were refurbished a couple of years ago, they get hammered by the weather since they have an open roof and are now mainly unusable. We as students also need to take ownership of concerns such as poor uniform, misuse of mask exemptions, not picking up rubbish and ignoring bins, and chewing gum everywhere. Lastly, several ideas have since been looked into. There are long-term plans for the pool's facilities, which will occur in years to come, when the school budget allows. But for now, the changing rooms will be updated in Term 2. House-coloured additions to the uniform are currently being investigated. There are varying clubs to use the PCs for those interested, so talk to Mr. Thorley and the other Digitech teachers. Campus maps are another idea, and we have sent out a digital copy for now, since a permanent solution should wait until the majority of building is finished around school. And finally, a program with a broader range of house events, including academic and rugby ones, is meant to be implemented throughout the year. So boys, if you're the student rep for your Kaitiaki class, I hope to see you at the next meeting. It'll be advertised in the notices and your emails closer to the time. So have a good day everyone, Aotearoa Pedo.